Hello,
Hello, my name is Quinn,
my name is Audrey.
and today we're going to rank the presidents and prime ministers.
We're gonna do it based on 3 categories.
We're going to do it based on national security
Mhm.
and economy and how well they got along with the other prime minister or president at the same time as them. So each category is going to be out of 10 for a final score out of 30 for each of them. And then we're going to rank them on a tier list. Yay!
Yay!
A few disclaimers we have include that we did not include anyone that wasn't in for a full term. So like wasn't in for a full 4 years. So like JFK, sorry,
Why?
poor guy died.
It's also only presidents and prime ministers starting
After World
after
War
World War II.
Yeah, after World War II. So we're starting with Mackenzie King and Roosevelt. Yeah, we skipped Gerald Ford, Joe Clark, sorry,
John Turner.
sorry, Tim
Tim
Campbell,
Campbell.
sorry, Paul Martin. That's it. So like we skipped a few people because they weren't there for that long, and also
We also did not do Biden.
we didn't do Biden because he hasn't been there for 3 years. Just to keep it fair, you know.
Yeah.
We did 10. I did one extra. We forgot there were 2 mush. No, we're not gonna say that. We can't.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Roosevelt. Okay, so first we're gonna start with Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Oh, I thought it was Roosevelt.
I don't know.
Oh, that sounds way better. For national security, he was in office during World War II. Yeah, because he expanded social security systems a lot. The growth in federal authority during his New Deal made it so that he had an easier time dealing with the war. And then in May 1943, he made Senator James Burns the director of a new superintendency, the Office of War Mobilization. So then what James Burns did is in 1944, he made a work or fight order. So all like draft eligible men either had to work in like defense industry jobs or go to war. Yeah, or being drafted. And then he also like shut down race courses to save petrol and ordered places of amusement like bars and pubs to close at midnight. Also, in preparation for the war, he was prepared to tolerate the erosion of some civil liberty. Oh wow! Yeah, and so that mostly affected Japanese Americans, especially after Pearl Harbor. The relocation of about 112,000 people of Japanese descent, most of which were American citizens, they had to abandon their homes and jobs and possessions and suffer confinement in overcrowded camps. Oh, yeah.
Not good.
No. And then the economy. So he did the New Deal, which is a pretty big deal. There were like different rounds of it though. So the first one, he like didn't have the best time with, but it still did some important stuff. So in May 1933, they did the Emergency Banking Act, which set reforms that could stabilize the banks, and it was passed after only 20 minutes of debate because they were like, "Oh, that's a good idea." Wow. Yeah. We did a bunch of other things. I think the most important one was the National Recovery Act, which added almost 2 million workers to payrolls and set precedents for minimum wages and maximum hours and kept the economy on an even level. But it did nothing to end the depression, unfortunately. But then he had the second New Deal, where he made like a lot more, he found a lot more success. Okay, he had the Public Works Administration, which was responsible for many public projects like bridges, tunnels, courthouses. So the money from like making these projects was injected too slowly to boost the economy, but it was responsible for like a lot of new infrastructure, and it did create a lot of jobs. And then he had the Works Progress Administration in May 1935 to employ people. It only lasted until 1943, but it also like created a lot of jobs when it was around. And then he had the National Labor Relations Act in July 1935, which made it so that collective bargaining was guaranteed and employers were prohibited from indulging in unfair labor practices. based on the premise that collective bargaining would avert strikes and other forms of like disruptions, so that it would be good for the economy.
You know what?
I know. Okay, and then you have the Social Security Act of August 19. This is the most important one.
Okay.
Okay. It was the origins of the welfare state. So you had the contributory social insurance program, which is where workers and their employers contributed to the like money that they would then get back when they retired. And then also unemployment benefits. So like employers were obligated to contribute to unemployment benefits. And then there's also categorical assistance, which is related to specific categories of people, like widows and like physically handicapped people. Well, also during the war, he was able to restructure the national taxation system. So, like earlier, he tried to impose heavier taxes on the most wealthy, but it didn't work. But then in 1942, he made it so that first he like expanded the tax system. So before that, less than 4 million American adults paid federal income tax. But then by 1945, nearly 43 million Americans paid. Yeah. And he introduced the pay-as-you-earn thing. So he made tax collection more secure, and it was generally accepted as justified, despite the fact that more lower income earners were paying taxes because they were still paying less than the higher earners. So yeah, so he made a lot more revenue in taxes. By 1944, it was over 51 billion.
So that was it for economy?
Yeah,
He did a lot.
yeah.
And then what do you have for how well he got along?
Oh yeah, he had a lovely relationship with Mackenzie King. He felt at home in Canada, and he received an honorary degree from Queen's University. And him and Mackenzie King both went to Harvard. So when he was getting his degree, he mentioned that. Oh, justice. Yeah. And he made a heartfelt speech on Parliament Hill on the first Quebec conference, where he was basically like, me and Mackenzie King have always been such good friends, and I feel at home in Canada.
Good one.
Yeah.
All right, so now we gotta do the ranking. Okay, so we started with national security out of 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was during World War II, but the part about Japanese Americans was not cool.
No.
But like the other stuff he did, most of it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So like, what should we rate him?
I don't know.
Like,
5?
like 5?
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. Let's give him a 5.
Okay, 5.
For economy,
I
think he did pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like
9. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And then how well they got along?
Oh, I would say like a 10.
Yeah, they got along 10. He got
24.
24. Where is he? Oh, he's right here.
Yay.
24. Yeah, there he is. Yay, go Roosevelt. Now we're going on to William Lyon Mackenzie King.
Yay.
So for national security, he was also prime minister during World War II. So he signed the Augsburg Agreement in August 1940, which like the USA and Canada worked together to get a better defense cooperation. So they made the Permanent Joint Board of Defense, which made a communication forum between the two countries so they could assess their defense. He also was part of the United Nations and the formation of the United Nations, which is a big deal. Also, the Alaska Highway. They allowed like Americans to build the Alaska Highway up there to allow for better defense up there. We thought that would bring defense to the country, having like more supplies and resources being able to be brought up there by the Alaska Highway. Also prime minister during part of the Cold War. So like similar to like Truman's loyalty order, he made a security panel for like government officials in the RCMP. Like they would check out the loyalty of government members. And like, remember we talked in class about the National Film Board and the drama that happened there because they were finding people suspicious? That's one of the things that he did. Get out the communists. He wanted them out of there.
So yeah, that's it for national security.
Nice.
For economy, he signed the Hyde Park Agreement in 1941. It was a mini free trade agreement between Canada and US to help during the war. So like whichever country with the best capabilities to produce something would do it, and then they would trade. He used the Wartime Measures Act to make wartime prices and trade board. So like to stop wages and prices from like going crazy and like wages going down, prices going up. He made limits on rents and sugars and like necessities like milk and coal to make sure that like the price of things didn't keep going up. The overall cost of living from 1939 to 1941 increased 17%. So like that's a lot.
Yeah.
But then from 1941 to 1945, after he did the wartime prices and trade board, it only went up 2.8%
Oh,
from
wow.
1941 to 1945. So that's the best record among all the nations that were in war at the time,
Oh my god.
kind of slave.
It's fine.
And then how well he got along with the president. Roosevelt and King, they did sign the Augsburg Agreement together in August 1940. And then like they showed their little close relationship by signing informally in the little private rail car on the St. Lawrence. And then also, like you just talked about, after the first Quebec conference, Roosevelt spoke on Parliament Hill, calling King his old friend. But then Truman, who became president later, did not like Mackenzie King.
Oh no.
It was not as good of a relationship with Roosevelt. I think King, yeah, Truman did not like King. He thought he was weird. We talked about how he tried to bring his dog back to life in class. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he thought he was weird. Roosevelt was nicer to him. That makes sense. But yeah, okay.
Okay.
So national security. What are we thinking? He did the Augsburg
Yeah.
Agreement.
Seems pretty good, honestly.
Seems pretty good. The security panel was not great,
No.
and it led to the
Fruit machine.
fruit machine. Oh my god. Fruit machine was not good towards, yeah.
We hate the fruit machine.
And like, yeah, it fired a lot of people who probably were innocent.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't.
I was gonna say like 7.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
7. We're gonna go with 7. So 7 for national security. Economy. He really, like,
He
the price
did
of living.
set that record.
Yeah, he set that record.
Yeah.
He made the price of living much better.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should get like a 9.
Yeah. Wow.
And then relationship, okay.
I feel like
With
it's
Roosevelt,
so bad with,
but was so bad with Truman.
so should it be like a 5
I would give like
or
a
like
6.
6? Okay.
Because
Is it? Yeah.
Roosevelt was the hater.
True.
Or I mean, no. Truman was the hater.
Yeah.
Oh, too long. Truman was the hater, not Mackenzie King.
Mm-hmm.
6?
Yeah.
He got
22.
22.
I was gonna say.
Oh my god.
His bestie.
Him and Roosevelt are besties. Where is Mackenzie King? Where is he? There he is. Oh, thank you. Woo. Next up is Harry S. Truman. Okay.
Okay.
Truman. Okay. So Truman, like I just talked about with Mackenzie King, he created the loyalty order, where they interviewed government officials to see their loyalty. They wanted to expose the communists within the government, and like they accused like people like Martin Luther King Jr. and like anybody on the progressive left of being communist, which like, yeah, not great.
No, I'm not gonna.
He talked about how civil rights have to be subordinated to the right of the nation to defend itself. So he was willing to give up everybody's civil rights to fight against Russia. He made the National Security Council in 1947, which discusses like their national security and foreign affairs, which is a council that like continued on for a very long time. The Truman Doctrine started in 1947, and it's to help other nations resist communism. So it's a very interventionism.
Like an intervention.
Yeah, it's a very interventionist program. Because so like it's technically like national security. It wasn't really national security, but he was scared of the domino effect that communism would spread to the US. So by stopping communism in other countries, it wouldn't spread to the US, which is why I put it in national security, because it was a preventionist effort to save US's security, right? Yes. Okay, so that's it for security.